Hello, my name is Maria Gormley. I work within MA and the Quality Assurance team, where we work closely with controllers to support the smooth and efficient certification of partner reports. I'm going to start by looking through the expected timeframes for partner report submission. The diagram in front of you shows the workflow that a partner report will go through from draft through to submitted, through to control ongoing, and then certified by the controller. The lead partner should submit the joint finance report through JAMS within 12 weeks of the end of the reporting period. This 12-week window covers report submission, management verification by the controller, and final submission of the joint finance report by the lead partner. It is vital that partner reports are certified and paid as quickly as possible to maximise N+3 achievement. However, there is the potential also to shorten this window. Given that the complexity of the reporting process, it is important that projects put a clear reporting timetable in place, and this will allow them to make time efficiency savings and to ideally submit the report within the 12 weeks or sooner. Ideally, the joint finance report will only be submitted once all partner reports for that period have been submitted and certified by your controller. However, there will be instances where one or two partner reports have not been certified, and you will be asked to submit the joint finance report in order to expedite payment to the project. If there are issues or delay with the partner, this may be a case where it can be submitted and that partner report can then wait until the next joint finance report. The partner will need to be aware that their payment will then be delayed until the next joint finance report has been submitted for the next period. However, ideally, all reports for a period should be submitted, certified and paid together. But it's important to note that that option will be available to expedite submission of that joint finance report. Partners do not need to wait until the end of the reporting period to upload expenditure and build their audit trail. They can they can build their report and upload the supporting documentation throughout the period. It is important to note that this is the time prior to submission that the project should build their audit trail. Please be mindful that there are a number of fields within the partner report which are based on cumulative data, so all reports from previous periods must be submitted before a new report is created. Therefore, partners should only ever have one partner report in draft at any given time. It is the responsibility of the lead partner to work with their controller to agree deadlines, taking account of the controller's availability. A strong working relationship and clear communication is essential between the lead partner, the controller, and all the partners within a project. Please remember that the appointed controller can only verify expenditure once the partner report has been submitted in JAMS with all the relevant supporting documentation. It is the role of the partner to ensure that full audit trail and full supporting documentation has been uploaded and all data within the partner reports is accurate and correct. The practical guide for project partners has been updated. This is a guide which instructs projects and partners on how to submit their partner reports through JAMS. Version 2 is now available on the support portal. This provides an excellent step-by-step guide to using JAMS and submitting partner reports. Please make sure that all project staff involved in submitting reports are aware of any changes to version 1. I'm now going to highlight some key points to consider when submitting partner reports on JAMS, which will ultimately save both partners and controllers time and resources. First, it is important to remember that the lead partner is accountable for the whole project and ensuring that all partners comply with programme rules, EU regulations, procurement requirements and audit standards. Due to this oversight, the lead partner is in a unique position to share learning and recommendations across the project to ensure that expenditure is eligible, properly evidenced, and if an error is identified for one partner, the lead partner should take steps to ensure that is not repeated with others. The lead partner has a unique opportunity to identify errors and make sure they're not being repeated with other partners, and also to share learning from one partner report certification to other partners. If an issue arises between the controller and partner, the lead partner should support both parties in working together so that the project can continue to be delivered on time and in line with the programme rules and regulations. There should not be a situation where a lead partner removes themselves from these discussions if there are issues preventing the certification of expenditure. There may be periods, particularly at the start of the project, where no expenditure has been incurred. In these cases, partners should not submit a nil report, as this creates unnecessary work for both the partner and the controller, so nil reports are not required to be submitted through GEMS. Reporting period. When creating a partner report, the first tab automatically opens. Please ensure that the correct reporting period is selected from the drop-down menu as shown in the graphic in the slide. This is a frequent error which is causing problems, as this reporting period cannot be amended after submission and it directly relates back to the budget. It is critical to select the correct reporting period for the expenditure for when the expenditure was actually incurred. Projects have up to 12 months to submit expenditure after it's been incurred. However, it's important to remember that the aim is to include it within the correct reporting period wherever possible. Again, just to remind projects that only one only one partner report can be in draft at any point in time. A number of fields within the partner report is based on cumulative data. Okay, the Work Plan tab. The Work Plan tab pulls through work plan data from the most recently approved version of the application form, organised by work package. It must be completed for every partner report submitted, so please check prior to submission, as this is an area that cannot be added to afterwards, and it's an area that is checked by the controller, and the controller will need to see evidence in this area prior to certification. GEMS also includes a useful procurement tab. All documentation relating to procurement above public procurement threshold should be uploaded here and linked to the relevant line of expenditure. Please note that it should be linked to that item of expenditure within your list of expenditures. Some projects are uploading the procurement and they're not linking it to the item of expenditure, and this is causing delays, as whenever the procurement tab is cumulative and projects will add to it at every partner report submission. So when there's a lot of documents in that tab, it's going to be very difficult to identify what procurement you're looking for or what procurement that's the controller is looking for. So it's therefore very important that projects link the procurement within the procurement tab to the item of expenditure. Parked items. The parked item function in GEMS is now available. However, it's mindful to remind projects it should only ever be used by exception, and the controller will require SEUPB approval to use it. If expenditure is marked as parked, it will reappear whenever you go to build your next partner report. The partner can only resubmit this expenditure once all missing documentation has been uploaded. If it is submitted a second time without the required documentation and audit trail, it will be rejected and the project will have no further opportunity to claim this item of expenditure. So instances where parked would be used is whenever a controller is content that the item is eligible, however the project is unable to get some small piece of documentation or clarification. And in that case, in order to expedite certification of the partner report, the controller can ask SEUPB approval to park an item of expenditure. That item will then nearly bounce back to the project, and whenever you go to open your next partner or create your next partner report, that line of expenditure will then become available for you to resubmit. But you must only resubmit whenever you're content that you've got all the missing documentation, and the controller will be able to certify. Okay. Please note that items of expenditure cannot be grouped onto a single line. For example, the full gross salary cost for one employee should be recorded as one item of expenditure. However, any other items such as invoices or multiple staff should not be grouped onto one item of expenditure. Supplier name. Previously, the comments field was used to record the supplier or employee name. This has now been renamed as a supplier field, and this rollout will come with the next version of GEMS. Please ensure that the supplier name field is completely accurate and matches the invoice exactly. This information will be used for future reviews, so accuracy and completing this field is very important. Negative lines. Negative lines are only permissible for credit notes. They should not be used to correct an error made in a previous report. Post-payment irregularities are the correct procedure for this, which I'll come to in the next slide. All projects should already be familiar with the audit trail requirements set out in the programme manual fact sheets. The lead partner should remind partners what is required if the controller is experiencing repeated issues and ensure that all supporting evidence is uploaded before the partner report is submitted. The partner report must pass the pre-submission check before it can be submitted. This is a useful opportunity for projects to review the full report and confirm that all data and supporting documentation has been uploaded correctly. By taking the time to review this prior to submission, you will be helping your controller expedite certification of claims and inclusion then of the joint finance report, which will ultimately result in payment of that expenditure quicker to the project. Okay. Once submitted, the partner report cannot be reopened or amended. When the controller begins their review, the report moves to control ongoing status. Partners then have 5 working days to upload any missing documentation that the controller requests. Controllers are continuously reporting back that the partners are not meeting this deadline of the 5 days. We do appreciate that this is a very quick turnaround. However, it is important to remember that this is not the time for projects to be building their audit trail or going to seek documentation that the controller needs. The time to build the audit trail is prior to claim submission. The 5 days to respond to any queries and upload documentation, the communication tab in GEMS is only for minor queries or something that was missed at upload and pre-submission. Okay, post-payment irregularities. Any stakeholder can raise a post-payment irregularity with the MA Quality Assurance team. Whoever raises it should first ensure that both the project partner and the lead partner are aware of the figures involved and the reason for the irregularity. The MA Quality Assurance team will then review it for accuracy and make sure that the correct rationale has been applied to the expenditure in order to deem it a post-payment irregularity, and we will then record it in GEMS. After this has taken place, it will then be offset against the next partner report payment. Controller costs. It is important to note that controller costs are not verified by the external controller. They must be checked by the partner prior to submission for accuracy and ensure the correct treatment of VAT. These costs will be verified directly by SEUPB Quality Assurance team, and therefore any errors that are found will result in post-payment irregularities. Finally, the lead partner should read all controller checklists carefully. These are in the controller section of GEMS, and they will include recommendations and findings which will be very useful for shared learning and to ensure that any errors identified are not repeated across the project.